Selling author, and some people even say I'm a life coach. I started the Daily Dish Show to share my story, my truth, and my journey to vibrancy, and to inspire others to do the same. Because it's all about grit, perseverance, and finding a way despite the odds. It's about embracing the whole woman, not just the parts that are easy to love, and feeding her heart, mind, body, and soul. But I found that this isn't just my story, it's your story too. It's go time. This is the Daily Dish. Okay. Hello. We have an all new platform that we're working with. We were with StreamYard. We've just changed to Restream. So welcome everybody. Glad to have you here. All right. I see messages from the audience will be displayed here. Well, hello. Say hello. It's Tuesday. You know what to do. Come on down. Anyway, we are in the midst of, we've been cranking out a lot of courses lately. I don't know if you've seen them, but our latest course is the Confidence Code. One of the things that I've gotten really interested, hey, Margot, I'm so glad you're here. One of the things that I've been very interested in is making sure that courses can build on top of one another and deliver the goods. And that's exactly what we did with the Confidence Code and the energy, Take Back Your Energy, which was another one that we did. This week, we are introducing kind of as a pre-buy, if you will. Hi, Lisa, by the way, good to have you here, that we are doing the Confidence Code. And this is, I believe this is for every single woman who has ever struggled with confidence and ever thought, well, I just don't have it and all of that. This Confidence Code course will take all of that away. I promise you, because confidence isn't done in the same fashion that we think it is. Confidence is actually a decision. It's a skill. There's all kinds of stuff that goes with confidence. And I am here for you on that. Trish, I see you. So good to have you here. So I just want you to go take a look at that. It's at savingdinner.com/show. It is $100 off right now. It's self-led. There's 8 courses. There's a video module. There's a workbook that goes with it, all of it. And it's big, fat, and juicy. It's going to give you all the things that you need. And we are here to help you with all of that. So anyway, good to have you all here. Thank you so much for showing up. Yolanda's in the house. Good to have you here. Anyway, so the Confidence Code, if you're interested in this, and I really think every woman on the planet needs to be reading this, because this is how we better show up in the world, by the way. Don't forget, it's savingdinner.com/show. Go check it out. It's a good course. I'm very proud of it. Good work here. We did a good work. And Jenny, I'll tell you what, she busted her butt on this. So you can give her big kudos and thanks as well. Amelia Earhart had such a great quote. It's the most difficult thing is the decision to act. The rest is mere tenacity. I mean, how true is that? If you purchase the course now, can we do it later on in the year? Yes, ma'am. If you purchase the course now, you're smart, because you can bank it for any time you want to use it. The courses are all set up, and it's just, as you go along, you'll see in the workbook, Trish, you will really enjoy that. So yes, get it. I would get it now. It's $97. It's not $197. It's $97. So now's the time to get it. And there's the lessons and everything it's build up. It'd be so good for you, by the way, because I know you. And I think, it will just, I think it will validate a lot of things that you're thinking, and is also going to make you have a few ahas. I just, that's how I look at it. Virginia is in the house. Hello. Glad to have you here. Anyway, so, those are the things that we got to be looking at everything right now. How are we showing up in this world? Are we living our lives in full bloom? Is this as good as it gets? Am I invisible? Can things change? Blah, blah, blah. And we have so many tools for changing that type of a reality and creating the reality that we want. We've got your Recreate Your Life book clubs. We have everything. And these courses are the same thing. That's it for the courses for a while. Just the confidence code and the energy. That was a ton of energy to put through and to get those things created for you. And they're there for you. Okay. Savingdinner.com/show for the new confidence code. Super proud of it. You're going to benefit from it greatly. Okay. That's what I have for you. The other thing that we did is our Take Back Your Life Journal, which I'm, again, super proud of that. We did an undated version. So you can start at any time. This is not everybody starts on January 1st, right? And then in our whole thing, when we've got something dated and we're looking at it, it's jarring. We want things that are dated correctly, don't we? I know how it is. Anyway, go check that out at savingdinner.com/journal. If you haven't started on your journal, this journal works congruently with what your goals are, and make sure that your goals are on your to-do list and that you're doing things daily and that you're building. This is I guess that should be my new word of the year, is to build. Because when we can build, you know what happens? When we build, we create. It's not just the foundation, but it's the everything. And having all this together, it just makes it all work. So if you are struggling with your goals, then Take Back Your Life Journal. It's undated. Go to savingdinner.com/journal. It will work with you and your goals, putting them on your to-do list, making them happen every day. I cannot tell you this exactly how it was set up to work for you. Okay. That's at savingdinner.com/journal. Miss Nancy, it's so good to see you, and cheers to you. I haven't even opened my Pellegrino, and here I am. Okay. Yeah. And if you are, go to savingdinner. The sprint workout on March 31st. Yes. I also see Lynn there. Hi, Lynn. It's good to have you here. So, next that we have on the list is I told you about the show. I told you about the show special. I told you about the journal. I gave you the quote of the week. And now, remember what we've been doing? We have been working our way all the way through the 12 universal laws. We have. Who's sprinting? You are, Nancy. I am, Leanne. I'm sprinting, and I'm drinking my little Pellegrino. Let's talk about this next law. This next law is called the law of rhythm, okay? And basically, it's just about understanding life's natural cycles. It is. Nancy, thank you. Nancy just said the journal is excellent. It is. Thank you. It is excellent. Thank you. And the reason that we like our journals is because we want to stay on top of our goals. When can you imagine having 4 different goal sessions, because that's how we do them, 90 days, and having everything come true because you follow the Take Back Your Life Journal? That's all I'm saying. Wouldn't that be so cool? You'd be a completely different person at the end of a year. Jocelyn, hello. It's good to have you here. That's why we like the undated, by the way. It just works. Anyway, that just came out today. So if you're wondering about that, it's at savingdinner.com/journal. Okay. The undated. So let's talk about this law of the rhythm, because it basically states that everything operates in cycles. We know this. We know this intuitively, but do we put this into the reality of our everyday? Do we? Mostly we don't. We fight it. And that's the problem, because, there's natural highs, there's natural lows, there's ebbs and flows. Nothing ever stays the same forever. And then we get gobsmacked. Oh my gosh, why did that change? Not recognizing the rhythm just of the universe. I mean, it's like the moon is full sometimes, not all the times. Everything has a natural flow. The tides go in, the tides go out. And so when we start resisting the lows and using the highs intentionally, can you imagine what happens next? So this, by the way, is just like the secret of momentum, which, again, we know this intuitively, but we do not practice it in real life. We're not aware of it, and we don't notice it as much as we should. So that's what this is about. We're going to be bringing this all home. Okay. All right. First of all, let's talk about the science behind the laws of rhythms because, honestly, a rhythm, like the circadian rhythm, for example, or anything, this is not just a spiritual woo woo type of a concept. There is science behind that because in nature, we see cycles all the time. Right now, we are in winter. We are gearing up towards spring, and most of us can't wait for spring, right? But there's a circadian rhythm, and you hear me preach endlessly about being honoring to your own circadian rhythm so that you can get the sleep that you need, the healing that you need, and the proper sleep cycles so that we can stave off a lot of disease, dementia, all kinds of stuff. Not just getting in enough sleep, but getting in the proper amount of sleep by honoring our circadian rhythm. And I will tell you that when you do this and when you finally get into this place of understanding how the circadian rhythm works and consequently why it's so important that we're honoring to it, you will see a completely significant uptick, not only in your energy, but just in the way you feel, because it's a natural way to flow through your life. And this is one of the ways that we get flow back. We've talked about flow before, but flow is the thing that just, this is what we live for because flow makes us feel good. Flow makes us productive. Flow makes us see the natural rhythm of things that are happening and that we can get a lot of work done if only we were in the flow. One of the ways that we do it is with this biological cycle called the circadian rhythm. All right, then there's this thing called the ultradian rhythm. I don't know what this is. This is brand new, but this is energy waves throughout the day. Well, this makes sense, doesn't it? The science tells us that we naturally cycle through periods of high energy and low energy during the day, and it's every 90 to 120 minutes, depending. And we can all highly relate to that. Amen. Of course we can. And we know what it is when we're just like in the flow and we're getting things done and we lose track of time, but we can't expect that for an eternity. We can't even expect it for a whole day without interrupting it, without doing something to refresh ourselves, to go to the bathroom, to stand up and to stretch and to, get a breath and take some hydration or whatever. But this is why short bursts of work are so much more effective than trying to grind it out through the day, right? I know for me that toward the end, when I'm really trying to grind it out, I could have done that work probably in an hour versus 3 when I'm trying to really push hard and get things done. That's because I haven't honored the rhythm. But there's more, right? There's seasonal and lunar cycles. This is nature's bigger rhythms. And we understand about that. And we know that seasons impact mood. There are some people that need special lights during these winter months so that they don't get depressed because it's so gray and awful. And winter kind of makes you feel slower, where summer, you're just full of energy and you're wearing less clothes and you're just boing, boing, boing all over the place. I mean, I am. I don't know about you, but I spend a lot of time trying to warm myself up as opposed to getting out there and getting things done during the summer. And then also, the moon phases affect human biology. You remember, and maybe some of you still have your periods, but it was like every 28 days, like clockwork for me. And that is just how the lunar clock works and how our bodies work in response to it. And then there's the economy and human behavior that follows cycles. Did you know that? Stock markets actually have patterns and they rise and they fall in predictable patterns. And there are people who make their living predicting this next rhythm, this next pattern. Also, trends in fashion, music, even social movements also follow a rhythmic cycle. You can see this every few years. People get a little riled up and parties change in politics, et cetera, et cetera. And that's just, it's a trend. This is how things work. So if we look, really, rhythm is everywhere. And the mistake people make is trying to fight those lows and overextending the highs. And that's what I want to talk about on how we can get a little bit more noticing, if you will, and a little more aware so that we can use this law of rhythm to affect our lives in the positive. So, one thing that we need to make peace with, by the way, is this idea that success and failure are mortal enemies. They're not, they're cyclical. And if you're in a low, don't panic because your next idea is coming up and it's going to be your breakthrough. And you just need to hang in there and keep going, right? Hey, Chris, sliding in a little bit late. I'm just so glad you're here. Um, and also, your energy and motivation and your emotions even, they fluctuate. And the productivity in your low area, what does that do? A lot of times when you're really pushing it hard and you're in that low period, it ends up burning you out. And that's hard. That's tough. And that's where we're just like, but I just got to keep going and I just got to keep going. And the harder we push, the more burnt out we feel. Does anybody know what I'm talking about besides me? But we also have to look at relationships as having seasons, and sometimes that requires nurturing, other times that requires space, and sometimes relationships end. They had a beginning, they had a middle, and they have an ending. And, that doesn't, and I want to say this, it doesn't mean that it wasn't a good relationship. It just means that it had its season and it had an expiration date and it ended. This happens. I think when we can make peace with that, we can allow things to go that weren't meant to be, right? Anyway, so how do we apply this law of rhythm then? How do we do it? Well, first of all, recognize your own cycles. There is a time when you're going to feel naturally energized, and there's a time when you're going to feel drained throughout the day. It just happens. If you notice this with yourself, make a mental note, even jot it down in your journal, and take note of this because this is the beginning for you to discover where your natural highs and your natural lows are, and you can take advantage of those if you know where they are. And so if you're tracking your mood, maybe your motivation, and even your creativity levels over a month, you're going to find some patterns, maybe even just a week. You will find some patterns. For me, for example, I'm really good in the morning. I like to get a lot of stuff done in the morning before I go out and play pickleball. I usually have a big list of things to tick off that I need to get done. It makes all the difference in the world. And I'm very energetic. I'm very on top of it. I'm going to get that work done. But later on in the afternoon, you ask me to do something around 4 o'clock, my brain's mush. But that's my pattern. Yours might be the opposite. So figure out your patterns, figure out what your moods are, your highs, your lows are, whatever. And when you figure that out, add that into the equation of when you are time blocking your day and figuring out when your most productive times are so that you can get that work done in that time. It makes a huge difference. So if you're working with your rhythm and not against it, you're going to start riding the highs. And when you're in this energetic high, go all in. I mean, you tell whomever, this is my big time. Do not disturb. I'm getting this work done, whatever you need to do. But it makes huge difference when you, and I don't know, to me, it's when I know this is my energetic time. I have noticed and am aware that it's my energetic time and I'm ready to go and I've got all my stuff together. I'm telling you, that's like throwing an accelerant on that fire. It just makes it go even faster. And then you find yourself flowing through the lows. And you know what? Everybody feels unmotivated from time to time. That doesn't mean that we have to force things. It just means that maybe what we need to do is just stop for a minute, reflect, and then maybe, I don't know, maybe it's time for you to just go over to YouTube and learn something. Not just sit there and look at cat videos. I'm talking about learning something. Like one of the things that I'm working on right now is getting a better understanding of social media because it's changed so much. But guess what? The University of YouTube is incredible. So this is where I need to go, but I need to stay on task. and get that doing. And during a low, it's a good time to start picking those things up. And then if you're using this rhythmic planning with productivity, you can work in these 90-minute bursts and really knock out some good stuff. And that's just aligning with your rhythms, right? And then structure your year. Did you hear me? I said year. Yes, your year around high energy and low energy months. Plan your big moves during high energy months. Let's say you have to, you're selling your house and whatever. Do it in a month where you have a lot of energy, not when you're feeling down in the dumps. Because am I right? Does it take not a lot of energy to move your house? Lord, it does. So let's take advantage of that. When we're thinking in these terms, it really changes the way that we do our lives and we can stay on top of things. So the other thing is that, we have to trust the process because when you're feeling down and when you're feeling low, you need to remember and remind yourself, well, this is just temporary. The high is coming. I will take advantage of tomorrow morning, for example. If I'm feeling bad about myself and saying, gosh, I'm just not getting done what I need to get done for all of this, what's going on here? I need to understand that I'm in a low period. It's the afternoon. I'm a little bit low, but tomorrow, bring it on. I can knock out a whole bunch of stuff. Do you see the value in all of this? To me, this is like a big deal because I forget so often that I work on a rhythm just like everybody else, and I can't expect myself to have the pedal to the metal 24/7. And either can you. Excuse me. So, you know, eh, the whole thing is that when we see amazing things happen, we need to understand that that also and amazing energy that we're pouring out, that also is going to come to an end just because, we don't have an endless supply of gas. So, a plan accordingly and take a look at what's going on. Don't get complacent and just think, well, I'm always going to have this high. You're not. And then we can, again, plan for when it's down, plan for when it's up, and take advantage of those highs and even take advantage of those lows and use the low time for different activities rather than the flow periods that we're looking for when we've really got to push a lot of work out the door. So when you understand the law of rhythm and you stop feeling like you're failing during a low period, amen, just trust the cycle and know that your next high is coming. And when you see the pattern, plan for it, right? And here's the thing. Sometimes what it is, we force life and then we beat ourselves up and we say we can't get it done and it's too hard and it's this, that, and the other thing. Have you considered that maybe it's because your energy's just off? Maybe it's because your rhythm is just off. And if you notice the pattern in your life and you start seeing this, you know, instead of forcing it, you're going to say, no, I know what's going on here. And I'm just going to readdress things a little bit, re work my schedule a little bit, and take advantage of the times when I'm really on. Then I'm going to really knock it out of the park. Okay. That's all I have for you today. But, at some point, do you understand all that? Does this resonate with you? I hope so, because I will tell you that this is exactly how these things work. And I will tell you also that when we harness our good rhythm and our low rhythm, so to speak, and we don't beat ourselves up for it, we can get so much more accomplished. So much more. It's just an honoring thing. I love that. Nancy, pinky's up to you. And thank you very much. I'm glad you found it to be outstanding information. And I'm glad also for all of you who joined me today. Thank you so much. I appreciate you all incredibly a lot. You know that. I will see you, of course, next week. And if you are sprinting, stay with it, stay with the program. You've got this. If you are a part of the complete experience, you will be sent a form to fill out for next Monday's laser coaching. The form must be filled out to participate in the coaching. So take advantage of that. I do not hold back. I will give you everything that I've got. And I would love to see you there. If you've been a part of that, do be a part of it. Thank you, Jocelyn. Thank you for coming today. And thank you all again for joining me. I will see you again. Peace be with you. Bye-bye. Thank you for joining me today. You can find me on TikTok for daily tips to help support your most vibrant life. And remember, you are the author of your own story. Until next time.